Humans have been obsessed with the concept of time travel forever, or at least since the release of Back to the Future in 1985. But have we already cracked the mystery of time travel? Are there pieces of evidence from around the world throughout time that are actual proof of this crazy phenomena? Hey everyone, Dewey Stu back and ready to give you a great list today. Have any of you ever dreamed of going to the future or even back in time? Well, get ready for today's list because after we're through here today, you might just have the secret to time travel. That's right, today we look at the top 10 pieces of evidence that prove that time travel is real. So grab your hoverboards and sports almanacs and let's get to it. Starting us off at number 10, we have the Expecting Text painting. In this painting from 1860 by Austrian painter Ferdinand Georg Waldmüller, a young woman is walking down a dirt road with something in her hand. It is not entirely clear what she is holding, and many believe it to be a cellular device. The strange theory started from a retired government officer from Glasgow, Scotland by the name of Peter Russell. Even though it defies all the odds, he couldn't help but see a phone in the young woman's hand. Quite specifically, an iPhone. The theory led many more to hop on board, but many disagree as well. Gerald Weinpolter, CEO of the art agency Austrian Paintings, said she is quite clearly on her way to church and is holding a prayer book, not an iPhone. This makes more sense to me than a time traveler who went back and then painted this amazing masterpiece, especially because I bet it's just our 21st century lens imposing our everyday realities on a piece of work from a different time. But there is no way to prove it, so in the end, which is it? At number 9, we have the French iPhone painting. In an oil painting by Pierre de Hooch, painted in 1670, many see a young man holding what appears to be a phone. Quite specifically, once again, an iPhone. But I find that hard to believe, as this boy is living at a time where if he would have had an iPhone, he would have been burned at the stake for anything even resembling one. A description of the image suggests that the young man is actually a messenger delivering a small paper letter in his hand, not an iPhone. I think it's more of a case of our 21st century minds imposing our normalities on it again, but then again the painter is no longer alive and no one alive today knew him, so who is to say the boy isn't on an iPhone, and even a time traveler? Either way, that's not the most disturbing part of this painting to me. The most disturbing part of the painting is the little girl off in the left hand corner. Those little eyes seem creepy as hell, and I think she's plotting to kill the time traveler. Go ahead, tell me I'm wrong. At number 8, we have Charlie Chaplin's cheeky background actor. Background actors, for God's sakes. Am I right? JK, I'm just kidding, I love you guys. In the background of a scene in Charlie Chaplin's famous 1928 silent film titled The Circus, a woman can be seen in the background on what looks to be a phone call on a cell phone. Because the footage is so old, it's quite hard to really tell what's going on here, but many believe it to be true and that this woman is a time traveler. But also more likely, many people believe she is actually using a handheld hearing device that was around back in the 1920s. Once again, I think I'm going to go with the latter option, but no one has ever identified this woman and asked her, so we can never actually be sure. If she is a time traveler, she is still a woman of older age, and good for her because she has figured out how to use a cell phone. My parents have barely hit the age of 60, and I'm constantly amazing them with my knowledge of copying and pasting. At number 7, we have the time-traveling Sunseeker. In an image taken back in 1943 on a beach in Cornwall, you can see many factory workers relaxing and enjoying the sun on their break. Almost every single person out on the beach seems to be out relaxing and enjoying their day, all except one. In the center of the image, a man dressed up almost looking like Mr. Bean can be seen looking down with something in his hands. Many people believe this to be a man from the future on a cellular device, or even a time travel device. I'm sorry, if it doesn't look like a DeLorean, then I'm not buying it. To the best of my knowledge, no one has ever identified the man in the photo and probably at this point never will. But I will say that many also suspect that he is actually rolling himself a cigarette. I think that is much more likely, mainly just for the fact that if this guy is able to travel through time, you're telling me that he wanted to time jump while looking like Mr. Bean? I don't think so. But once again, you be the judge. At number 6, we have the Adidas sponsored mummy? Say what? A few years back, archaeologists unearthed an ancient mummy while digging in Mongolia. When they unearthed the body, they found the amazing looking red colored boots attached. Not only were these boots rather impressive looking, they also kind of look like they had the Adidas logo on them. You know, those 3 stripes? I don't know. Investigation of the body dated to about 1100 years old, which is crazy because Adidas didn't actually get founded until 1949 in Germany. Does that mean that these boots are proof of time travel? Well, probably not. It's more likely and believed that this woman was actually a Turkish seamstress, which probably explains the fresh kicks. While that is the popular theory and the most likely, many people disagree and won't let go of the idea that it looks like the Adidas logo. Coming in at our halfway point at number 5, we have a picture of Greta Thunberg, and compare it to another picture from 1898 of Greta Thunberg? Back in 2019, this photo surfaced on the internet and caused quite the stir. It caused a huge stir because the child seen in the photo looks just like the current Swedish child activist, Greta Thunberg. This photo is actually from 1898, showing children working in a gold mine located in Canada's Yukon Territory. Sneaky, mysterious people we are, eh? What was first believed to be shocking about the photo was the age of the young children working to hopefully find some gold, but everyone instead focused on the suspicion that the child on the photo is actually a time-traveling Thunberg. Thunberg, to my knowledge, has not commented on the photo, and what also doesn't help us is that none of the children in the photo have ever been identified either. But the photographer's name is Eric Hägg, a Swedish-American documentary photographer. He's Swedish just like her. To quote The Incredibles, "Coincidence? I think not!" At number 4, we have the man, the myth, and most certainly a legend, Andrew Basiago. We live in strange times, that's for sure. Strange because Andrew Basiago claims that he was part of a top-secret mission in the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency named Project Pegasus. His role in the project was to hop to the past and future, delivering top-secret parcels and documents to presidents and government officials. He has even made claims of a picture being snapped of him as a child back at Gettysburg in 1863. He has made even more claims that this top-secret mission used many different kids to time travel, including President Barack Obama. Obama and the White House have obviously denied these claims, but Basiago still holds his ground. He even ran for president back in 2016, but lost in the primaries. He believes and says that he knows by visiting the future that he will be president sometime before 2028. Looks like we'll have to wait and see. Starting us off in our top 3, at number 3, we have the Mohawk time traveler. In an image taken back in 1905, we see many different workers unloading what looks to be a banana boat on the dock. But if you look much more closely at the edge of the boat, you can see a man in a white t-shirt who also happens to be sporting a mohawk. Now, no one saw a mohawk on guys until around 1939 in the Henry Fonda movie Drums Along the Mohawk, or even until the 1970s in the punk scene. So is this guy in the photo just a super cool dude who is early to the party? Or is he what many others have theorized as a time traveler? It is of course possible that he may have just had a very different haircut at the time and didn't care what other people think, but still to this day, from what we know, the man has not been identified, nor have we seen any other mohawk photos like his from that time. So what do you think? A fashionista 65 years early or a time traveler? You be the judge. At number 2, grab your surfboards because we're looking at the Time Surfer. In a book entitled The Cape Scott Story, written by author Lester Ray Peterson in 1974, a photo lies amongst the pages of this non-fictional book about the history of Cape Scott on Vancouver Island in British Columbia. In this photo, taken back around 1917, you can see a group of people sitting on the side of a hill. But if you look more closely on the left-hand side, there is a young man wearing a rather modern-looking t-shirt and shorts. In addition to his clothes, his hair is let down and messy, kinda like a surfer. The best of my knowledge, no one knows who the man is or where he came from. He looks incredibly out of place, and many believe him to be a time traveler, hence the name Time Surfer, dude. Others have theorized that the people in the photo were just as shocked by him as we are. If you look closely, the woman on the right seems to be gesturing towards the time-traveling man. Of course, none of this can be proven true, but it does make for quite a juicy mystery. If you see this man, please report him. And finally, coming in at our number 1 spot, we had the time-traveling hipster. I'm sure many of you have seen this picture somewhere on the internet before, as quite recently it caused a huge stir. Back in 2010, an image from the Berlin Pioneer Museum's exhibit named The Past Lives Here was shown in an online exhibition hosted by the Virtual Museum of Canada. The image was of a crowd at the 1941 reopening of the South Fork Bridge near Goldbridge, British Columbia. But something is a little unusual in this picture. On the right-hand side, a strange-looking hipster man can be seen wearing futuristic glasses, a graphic shirt, and something in his hand which looks like a camera. Some say this might be a photo of a quirky man from the time, as there were glasses that looked like that in the 20s, even though they weren't in style in the 40s, and that his shirt is probably just has a stitched on logo that looks very similar to the logo of the Montreal Maroons. But many other people theorize that this photo is actually proof of time travel, and that the man in the photo is actually a hipster from the future. I don't know, I don't see any avocado toast on there, so it's hard for me to believe this one, but until he pops up again, we will never know. There you have it, that has been our top 10 pieces of evidence that prove that time travel is real. I don't know, man. What did you think? I still don't know if any of these pictures actually prove that time travel is real, but some of these definitely do put the thought in your head. And in the end, none of them impressed me too much because I'm still waiting for my time traveling DeLorean and flux capacitor. And until that day comes, I'll be over here doing my own thing, watching my 80s movies. Thanks for tuning in today, my friends. Hopefully you enjoyed the list. Let me know which one freaked you out the most down in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe to The Hive, and I'll see you all back here very, very soon. And until next time, as usual, buzz off.